Thank you so much, Dharmen sir, and a very good afternoon, one and all. And thank you for inviting me here as a speaker and giving me this opportunity to be a part of this international conference on role of AI and multidisciplinary research in shaping a sustainable future, which is being organized by CAF University, Ghana, West Africa, and in collaboration with the Science Tech Institute and International Institute for Special Education. So today I'm going to talk about Fetomaternal outcome in pregnant women infected with COVID-19 during third trimester of pregnancy. So this study is supported by state government, NHM, and US at Japago. So as we all know, like COVID-19 is a pandemic, and we all are aware about it. And there have been a lot of research for the COVID-19 in terms of a number of vaccination, what all are the symptoms, what all are the consequences. So a number of database is available in like WHO site also in response to public health concern, and one can go and visit and check the lot of research data. So here, what we did like a lot of from the lot of research, we also conducted a part of a study like that is uh, what if the women are infecting with the COVID-19 during the third trimester of the pregnancy. So actually, this is our very long-term study where we will be following the pregnant woman for about next 5 years. But the data which I'm going to share with you all, that is only at the time of birth or only associated with the third trimester of the pregnancy, whatever adverse outcome in the mother and the baby which we have recorded. So this is it. And this is a list of content, introduction, learning objective, research question, and so on. So introduction, as we all know, like COVID-19 have lot of risk uh, for vulnerable population, including pregnant women. So here in this research, we just wanted to see whether is vertically transmitted to the newborn baby from the pregnant mother if they get infected during their third trimester of the pregnancy. And if yes, then what all are the adverse outcome in the baby as well as in the mother. So this is the main objective of the research. Here are the learning objective to see the vertical transmission of the COVID-19 in the pregnancy, understanding the adverse effect on pregnant women and their newborn baby. And I will also talk about like the diagnostic development in Chhattisgarh, because when we started doing the RT-PCR test in the Chhattisgarh, there were very less facility, or we were not having any that time RT-PCR labs. So also during this time, we had a lot of laboratory development also to trace the disease, so which is done by the government of Chhattisgarh. So these are 3 points which I'm going to discuss today. So my research question is, does the COVID-19 transmit vertically from the pregnant woman to newborn? And if yes, then what all are the their adverse outcome in the baby and in the mother? Hypothesis is there is no difference in fetomaternal outcome of the woman infected with COVID-19 during third trimester of the pregnancy. Alternative hypothesis is there is difference in fetomaternal outcome of the woman infected with COVID-19 during their third trimester of the pregnancy. So this is the methodology part. This is an observational analytical study. Sampling method was used for this study was consecutive sampling method. Inclusion criteria was all COVID-19 infected women at their third trimester of pregnancy, whether they were the symptomatic or the asymptomatic. And there was no inclusion criteria. Study setting was PTJNM Medical College, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Sample size. So during this period, we enrolled a total 396 of pregnant women who were infected with the SARS-CoV-2 infection. And study population, the women who only had the infection during their third trimester of the pregnancy. And duration was December 2021 to December 2022. And we initiated this study only after the ethical approval of institutional committee. And here is the ethical approval number. So these were the steps which were involved. So all the pregnant women who were enrolled for the study, we collected the consent from each and every woman, and after that we taken all the medical records and the demographic records, the woman which is being admitted in our hospital. After that, we collect all the biological nasopharyngeal and oropharyngeal, as well as other biological samples such as the breast milk, amniotic fluid, placental tissues, and uh, vaginal swab at the time of pregnancy. And then all the samples were collected in the VTM, and they were transported to the laboratory, that is virology lab, PTJNM Medical College, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, with the all standard condition. And during the transportation of these sample, we maintain all the cold chain and everything. And these biological sample were processed into the laboratory, that is the virology lab, PTJNM Medical College, Raipur, and whatever the data uh, uh, we uh, uh, we found, that was recorded. So these were the independent variable for the study. Independent variable were COVID-19 positive pregnant women at their third trimester of the pregnancy, education, age, occupation, gestational age, addiction, any alcohol or tobacco, and their trouble history. And these were the independent dependent variable. In case of maternal dependent variable, those were the presence of SARS-CoV-2 in mother's breast milk, amniotic fluid, placental tissue, vaginal swab, maternal illness, maternal morbidity and mortality, spontaneous miscarriage, PROM, preterm labor, intrauterine function. In case of newborn, the dependent variable were recorded as the presence of SARS-CoV neonate, premature birth, fetal distress, Apgar score, and baby birth weight, placental weight, intermittent fever, dry cough, myalgia, morbidity, and neonatal mortality requiring NICU admission. So, coming to the result and discussion, women were registered for this study after their consent. So, out of 396 women, there was no travel history for in case of the all pregnant women, and all newborn born from the positive pregnant woman found to be negative for the SARS-CoV-2. So not even a single sample, respiratory sample, was found to be positive for the presence of SARS-CoV-2, which indicate there was no vertical transmission from mother to baby. And then we collected other biological samples such as the amniotic fluid, placental tissue, breast milk, vaginal swab, or the cord blood. So we could not see any presence of SARS-CoV-2 in these biological sample also. So those sample also were recorded as negative. And the primer, like the gene which we targeted gene for the study, for this study, were E gene and the N gene. Uh, uh, using a ready-made PCR kit, which was approved from the ICMR New Delhi, and the primer sequence which we used for this study for the N gene and the E gene is given here. So these were the targeted primer which we have used for the presence of SARS-CoV-2. So this was the demographic profile of the pregnant women who were infected with the SARS-CoV-2. So 100% women were belong from the hotspot and containment zone. 98.48% were the housemaker, whereas 1.51% were the professionals who were working, and 88.64% women were the educated, 11.36% were the illiterate. And here is given the gestational age for the pregnant woman who admitted at the time of pregnancy. So 25.5 were more than 37 week, 40.15% women were from 34 to 37 week, and 30.8% were from 28 to 34 week, and 3.53% were the less than 28 weeks with the gestational age. So here is the age which is given for the pregnant woman. So the women who enrolled from the study were the highest, 42.67% from the age group of 20 to 25 years. So if we talk about comorbidity of the pregnant women who were infected with the SARS-CoV-2, so we have seen 36% of hypertension, 33% anemia, and 27% hypothyroidism, and 3% of diabetes, and 1% was HIV, who was infected with the HIV infection. So these were the coming to the maternal outcome of the women who were infected with the SARS-CoV-2. So if we see about the maternal outcome, uh, so like 47.22% women were asymptomatic, whereas the 55.77% were found to be symptomatic, uh, and there was a need of 46.96% of the women which got hospitalized during the time of pregnancy, and who were the infected with the SARS-CoV-2 infection. And if we talk about vaginal delivery, there were 55.31% were the vaginal delivery, and 44.69% were the C-section, and there was 4.29% vaginal bleeding at the time of birth, and 13.88% women were having pre-eclampsia at the time of birth, and 1.51% women were having the PIH, that is pregnancy-induced hypertension. So these were the maternal outcome which we recorded at the time of pregnancy. And again, here are some other symptoms giving. Those were the 47.47% women were having the fever, 45.7% fatigue, 44.19% insomnia, 41.66% running nose, congestion, and so on. And if you see about the preterm, so we can say like the women who were infected with the SARS-CoV-2 were having the preterm birth, as well as like other symptoms like PROM and pregnancy-induced hypertension also. Preterm birth, total women, like out of 396, 57 women showed the this preterm birth, which is given here. That preterm birth before 34 week with PROM was 3.78%, and preterm birth with after 37 week was 3.03%. Preterm birth before 37 week with PROM was 2.77%. Preterm birth before 37 week was 2.52%, and preterm birth before 34 weeks was 2.27%. And these were the histopathological changes which we recorded, which comes under the adverse outcome. So the women who were infected with the SARS-CoV-2 at their time of pregnancy were having abnormal changes in the placenta. So here, if you see the data, 25% chronic villi with calcification seen in placental tissue, 27% intramural fibril deposition was recorded, and 12% chronic villi with fibrosis was recorded. Tissue with necrosis and inflammation was around 20%, and abnormality in umbilical cord was recorded 13%, and retroplacental clot was 3%. So these were the uh, uh, placental abnormality which we recorded in the placental tissue when we collected at the time of birth. Uh, at the time of birth, when the baby delivered, and this placental histopathological examination was performed in Department of Pathology. So, coming to the conclusion, there was no vertical transmission of the COVID-19 from mother to baby. There was negative finding for the RT-PCR for the respiratory swab of newborn, amniotic fluid, placental tissue, breast milk, vaginal swab, and cord blood. However, COVID-19 infection can lead the pregnancy issues like preterm birth from low birth weight of a newborn, low Apgar score, and NICU admission, as well as hospitalization of newborn. And placental abnormality was also associated with the COVID-19, and which was leading to the adverse effect of the
Yes,
neonatal
yes.
outcome. And based on these current findings, we are also planning a long-term study, like if the mother got infected with the COVID-19 at the time of pregnancy, whether it is first trimester, second trimester, or the third trimester, whether there is a neurological changes in the newborn or not. That is our ongoing study, and maybe in coming 5 year and 10 year, we will be doing the follow-up also. So that is a separate data which we will be including, correlating with this data
हाँ
also.
नहीं मैं
So
विशाल
these are
देखते हैं
the
मैं इसलिए दूसरा भी
publication
देख रहा हूँ
which
आई
have
नो
been
नीड
done
टेकिंग
from the current study. And if we talk about the
श्योर
diagnostic development in Chhattisgarh, so as a state technical advisor, like at the time of COVID, we were not having any RT-PCR laboratory. So slowly, with support of state government, we have developed 9 RT-PCR laboratory out of 10 government college, as well as we are having 6 RT-PCR district hospital laboratory also, which is supported by government of Chhattisgarh, and all are functional. And currently, we also got the approval for genome sequencing, so we'll be able to track also. And till date, we have done around 11 lakh RT-PCR tests, and in all over Chhattisgarh. Out of that, around 5,50,000 are the virology laboratory of PT Jain Medical College, and we are also planning to giving like training and other learning related to the molecular technique for the BSL2 laboratory. So this is our future plan. And this is the media coverage for our laboratory. And I'm very thankful to state government of Chhattisgarh and US at Japago BSL2 virology guideline also. That is an operational guideline, and which is now online. Here is the link, and it is being used in all
हेलो
over Chhattisgarh as well as now other part of country
आप कहाँ
also.
रहे हैं मैं खाना
I'm
खाने
thankful to NUHM for the financial support of
हम
the
खाने
study,
खाने तुम देखो
USAID and Japago for the development of operational guideline for BSL2 virology
यार
lab,
कोई मीटिंग है उसके हमको लंच
BSL2 operational
अपना
guideline for the
चलिए
BSL2 virology lab.
होना होना
And
अभी क्या
I'm also thankful to other contributor like head of the department,
बात नहीं हुई वो
microbiology,
भेज देता हूँ मैसेज
pathology,
भेज देता हूँ
and
ठीक है सर
gynecology, and pedia department. So thank you so much. That is all from my side.